Hello, Capturing History fam. Welcome to a new video, or should I say, welcome to episode 1 of American Wars. Yes, the series premiere of American Wars. Now, this isn't like a big video. It's not going to be a premiere. It's not going to be premiered, as y'all probably know by now. This is just something fun to do during the winter. So these seasons will return, or the series will return in the winter. So you will see season 2 this year. Until I get snow, but right now it's been 70 and 60 degrees in the middle of January, so there is no snow, so there is no Battle of the Bulge yet. But hopefully there will be Battle of the Bulge content coming, because I really like doing Battle of the Bulge, but there hasn't been any snow for me to do Battle of the Bulge, so I don't know what the heck's going on with the weather. But anyway, today we're going to be starting off this episode with World War I. Now, before I jump into World War I and how it started, is that this season 1 of American Wars, will be covering over World War I. So, what you're watching now through episode 4 of American Wars Season 1 will be all about World War I. And then Season 2 will obviously be about World War II. Now, I know I'm not wearing World War I apparel. I'm wearing World War II. That's because I don't have any World War I apparel. Because I don't really cover World War I that much. It is an interesting, I do like to cover it when I can, but I don't know much about World War I. So if you're watching this and you're a World War I buff, and I say something incorrect about World War I, tell me in the comments, and I will not be angry about it, because I don't know much about World War I. I know a little bit, but not much. That's why I got my notes here for World War I. So, I'm always confused about World War I. I know all about World War II because I put my heart and soul into World War II than I have anything else. And I also put my heart and soul into the Cold War, which we will cover soon. Yeah. So let's get into episode 1 of American War, shall we? At the dawn of the 20th century, the world appeared confident, powerful, modern, and unstoppable. Europe stood at the center of global influence. Its empire stretched across continents, its industries fueled progress, and its armies stood ready to defend national pride. But beneath this image of strength, the world was quietly unraveling. What looked like stability was in truth a fragile balance, one held together by fear, rivalry, and promise that could not be kept. This is the story of how a single moment ignited tensions decades in the making and pushed the world toward its first truly global war. By 1900, Europe dominated the globe. The British Empire ruled the seas and controlled territories on every continent. France, Germany, Russia, Austria, Hungary all competed for influence, land, and prestige. Industrialization had transformed society, as in new weapons or new weaponry was developed, and new technologies were evolving during this time. It wasn't until probably maybe the 1920s that technology started to evolve. I mean technology, I don't mean like phones or tablets or what we use today. I mean like cars, your refrigerator, the way we get around, the way things operate, factories, the stuff like that. That's what the industrialization was, the second industrial age, I think. I don't know, I could be wrong. But anyway, factories replaced farms, railroads crossed nations, new weapons promised faster, deadlier warfare, including the entry of the tank. Yes, we will get into that into a later episode, but this is the first war that introduced the tank. Nobody has ever seen the tank. And the use of airplanes as deadly weapons as well, using dropping random things on the enemy, like let's say just sharp objects, or Molotov cocktails, deadly grenades, bombs, stuff like that. Raining spikes was one of them too, I learned. Yes, that is a thing. You can look it up. If my memory serves me correctly. Progress brought power, but also anxiety. Nations feared falling behind meant vulnerability, and vulnerability meant defeat. Every major power believed the same thing. If war came, it had to be fought quickly, and it had to be won decisively. And with decisiveness, I don't even think I said that right, means they brought in something new called trench warfare. Yes, trench warfare. It was a new idea to bring to warfare, especially in World War One. It's very when you think World War One, you think the trenches, right? You think of all the big trenches over there in France and over there in Germany and stuff like that, and on the western and eastern front, right? All these long trenches that are like 20 to 30 feet deep, I think, picking out and sniper clipping you in the head. But yeah, that's what we think, and that was a new thing that made this war even deadlier, was trench warfare. And not only were the soldiers fighting against against actual humans, they were also fighting the weather and the environment. Like the trenches would get muddy and stuff like that, and it was very hard to move around in that stuff, and people got sick from it. Very deadly. Across Europe, militaries expanded at an unprecedented pace. Became common, budgets soared, new technologies, machine guns, heavy artillery, battleships, reshaped warfare, and, of course, the tank, which didn't come until the Battle of the Somme, which we'll get into in episode maybe 2 or 3, maybe, I would assume. But with the machine guns, right, what came about, the Germans made the machine gun. They first came out with it, because before, there was a machine gun before World War I. In the Spanish-American War, we had the Gatling gun. You would have a crank, and you would do this really fast. I'll show a picture of it right now. And it would hit the hammer, it would spin the hammer, and then what's funny is it was a semi-auto gun, so you could just click it once and it fire one round. So there was anything called machine guns. So what called it a machine gun, the early model was just talking about the Spanish-American War, the Gatling gun, you would spin this lever, this thing, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, and as you did it, the hammer would go faster and faster, and it would go da 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 da. That's what made that. Britain responded by expanding its navy, determined to remain the ruler of the seas, which is very true. At the time of before World War I, the British were becoming the biggest navy out there. So yes, France strengthened its defense, haunted by past defeat. That makes no sense in my notes. I don't know why I wrote that. Russia mobilized massive forces, relying on sheer numbers. Military leaders gained influence over governments. War plans were drawn up years in advance, rigid, detailed, and unforgiving. Once mobilization began, there would be no turning back. Pride and hatred. Nationalism swept across Europe. People believed deeply in superiority of their nation, their culture, their identity, and powerful empires. Nationalism strengthened unity. But in weaker regions, it fueled rebellion. Remember that. Nowhere was this more dangerous than in the Balkans. I can't say that for some reason. In my entire 20 years of living, I can never say Balkans correctly. Barely. The Ottoman Empire was collapsing. New nations emerged, like Serbia, Bulgaria, and Romania, and so on and so forth, each seeking independence and, obviously, freedom. Or freedom and expansion, obviously. Austria, Hungary, I can't say that. I can't speak today, apparently. Ruled over many ethnic groups who wanted freedom. Serbia dreamed of dreamed of uniting Slavic peoples into one nation. Their goals directly clashed. The Balkans became known as the powder keg of Europe. Diplomacy fails, right? It always fails. European leaders believed war would be controlled, that diplomacy would always prevail, and that threats would force compromise, but trust eroded. Each crisis made nations more suspicious, each arms buildup made peace less likely, each alliance commitment reduced flexibility. By 1914, Europe was no longer asking if war would come, only when it would come, or when it would happen. So here we are, the assassination, the famous assassination that started the war. All of that build-up, all of that planning has come to this, and now it's about to begin. Welcome to June 28th, 1914. 1914. Oh. On June 28th, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to Austro-Hungarian throne, visited Sarajevo. I can't even say that. The date was symbolic. For Serbians, it marked historical defeat. Centuries earlier, tensions were already high. A group of young nationalists waited along a parade route. So yes, Archduke was on a parade there. If you know from your history class, you know what I'm about to talk about, or what I'm talking about. Parade route. Earlier attempts failed, but fate intervened. After a wrong turn, the Archduke's car stalled directly in front of Gavrilo Princip. I'm showing pictures here. A Serbian nationalist. Two shots rung out. Bang, bang, right? Franz Ferdinand was dead. So was his wife, Sophie. The assassination shocked Europe, but few realized what it would unleash. From assassination to war. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia and issued an ultimatum designed to be rejected. Backed by Germany, Austria declared war. And here we go, right? Russia mobilized to defend Serbia. Germany declared war on Russia. France stood by Russia. Germany invaded Belgium. And Britain entered the war. Not us yet. Remember, I know this is about American wars. But I gotta tell you all the backstory, the leading up to us coming in the war, right? Within weeks, the alliance system dragged the world into conflict. What began as a single act of violence in a distant city had triggered a global catastrophe. Ward. You know, I said ward. I don't know why I'm saying ward. World War I has just begun. Or it's beginning. Europe stood on the brink for years, armed, divided, and overconfident. In 1914, it finally stepped over the edge, or across the line. They went too far, right? The war that followed would shatter empires, claim millions of lives, and reshape the modern world forever. And this was only the beginning. So that was American Wars Season 1, Episode 1. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. I know it's probably a little bit choppy. It is my first time just doing it. I'm more used to doing stuff, you know, with all my cool things, which I'm actually going to show you something cool. I got wool leather gloves for Battle of the Bulge for 70-degree weather, but this will help making coffee, right? So, got some World War II gloves here, very cool. I also got something for D-Day. Right here, I got some belt pads right here. So I gotta work on these a little bit. You know, they go right here for your thing. You know, they look big. I mean, I gotta trim them down, and I got to do some fitting, but it's not that time yet. I'm gonna wait a little longer, you know. And I also got this. I finally got me a World War II scarf. Yeah, look at me. I'm very fashionable. And you know, I could wear this anywhere I want. It's a very cool scarf. It's very warm. So if I'm going on a trip or something for my birthday coming up, I can. And if it's actually cold on my birthday, I can wear this. It is very itchy and very uncomfortable. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about American Wars Season 1, Episode 1. Now, next Friday, after January 23rd, will be Episode 2. That's when we'll start getting into the meat and potatoes of it all. The bread and butter, as I say, or as my friend said. So I just want to say that there will not be an intro or an outro like a normal video. So when I said, and this was only the beginning, just a few seconds ago, that will be it. That's my timer. I guess I could have kept on yapping about World War I and the brink. Lead up to it. But yeah, so I hope you guys did enjoy this episode 1, and if you did, make sure you click that like button. And if you want to hear more about World War I or want to see a bunch of seasons about American involvement in wars or just wars in general, click that subscribe button and obviously click the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. And I will see you guys in the next one.